Article 280.85 of the National Fire Protection Association 7D, also known as the National Electrical Code, specifies that surge arresters must be installed in a readily accessible location that is protected from physical damage and deterioration. However, Article 280.80 does not explicitly state whether a surge arrestor needs an overcurrent protection device, abbreviated as OPD, or if the lead wires from the arrestor can be directly connected to the buswork. To provide guidance, the following sections of the NEC are relevant. Article 280.22 states that surge arresters must be of a type approved for the intended use. Article 280.22d emphasizes that surge arresters should be installed and connected in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Article 408.36 mandates that overcurrent protection be provided in each ungrounded circuit conductor to the line side of a surge arrestor. Based on these sections, it is strongly recommended to adhere to the manufacturer's instructions for the surge arrestor and to provide an overcurrent protection device for the line side of the surge arrestor. Furthermore, the lead wires coming from the arrestor should not be directly connected to the buswork. Instead, they should be connected to a terminal block or other suitable means. In conclusion, while the NEC does not explicitly require an overcurrent protection device or direct connection of the arrestor's lead wires to the buswork, it is advisable to follow the manufacturer's instructions and to provide an overcurrent protection device for the line side of the surge arrestor. The lead wires should not be directly connected to the buswork. To elaborate further, let's consider several aspects of surge arrestor installation, focusing on compliance with the National Electrical Code and best practices for ensuring electrical safety and system reliability. Surge arresters, also known as surge protective devices or SPD, are crucial components in electrical systems designed to protect sensitive equipment from transient voltage surges. These surges can originate from various sources, including lightning strikes, utility switching operations, and the operation of heavy electrical equipment within a facility. The primary function of a surge arrestor is to divert excess voltage away from protected equipment by providing a low impedance path to ground during a surge event. This prevents the voltage from reaching levels that could damage or destroy electronic components. The NEC provides specific guidelines for the installation and application of surge arresters to ensure their effectiveness and safety. As previously mentioned, Article 280.85 emphasizes the importance of selecting a readily accessible location for the surge arrestor. This accessibility is essential for inspection, maintenance, and replacement purposes. The location should also provide protection from physical damage and environmental factors that could degrade the arrestor's performance over time. This might include protection from moisture, extreme temperatures, and corrosive substances. The requirement for surge arresters to be of a type approved for the intended use, as stated in Article 280.22a, is a critical aspect of ensuring proper functionality and safety. Approved surge arresters have been tested and certified by independent testing laboratories, such as Underwriters Laboratories, to meet specific performance and safety standards. These standards address the arrestor's ability to withstand and divert surge currents, its voltage protection level, and its overall reliability. Selecting a surge arrestor that is appropriate for the voltage, current, and environmental conditions of the installation is essential for effective surge protection. Article 280.22d underscores the importance of following the manufacturer's instructions for installation and connection. Manufacturers provide detailed instructions that outline the proper wiring methods, grounding requirements, and mounting procedures for their surge arresters. These instructions are based on the specific design and characteristics of the arrestor and are essential for ensuring that it operates correctly and safely. Failure to follow the manufacturer's instructions can void the warranty and compromise the arrestor's performance. Article 408.36, which requires overcurrent protection on the line side of the surge arrestor, is a critical safety measure. The overcurrent protection device, typically a circuit breaker or fuse, is intended to protect the arrestor itself from excessive current flow. This can occur if the arrestor fails or if it is subjected to a surge that exceeds its capacity. Without overcurrent protection, a failed surge arrestor could potentially create a fire hazard or cause damage to other equipment in the electrical system. The selection of the appropriate overcurrent protection device is based on the arrestor's current rating and the characteristics of the electrical circuit. The device should be sized to provide adequate protection without causing nuisance tripping under normal operating conditions. Connecting the lead wires of the surge arrestor directly to the bus work, as opposed to using a terminal block or other suitable means, is generally not recommended for several reasons. Firstly, direct connections to the bus work can be difficult to make securely and can increase the risk of loose connections. Loose connections can create heat and lead to premature failure of the arrestor or damage to the bus work. Secondly, direct connections can make it more difficult to remove and replace the arrestor for maintenance or testing purposes. Using a terminal block or other suitable connection method allows for easier disconnection and reconnection of the arrestor without disturbing the bus work. Thirdly, terminal blocks and other connection methods can provide a more organized and professional appearance to the installation. They can also help to improve the overall reliability of the electrical system by reducing the risk of accidental shorts or ground faults. In addition to the NEC requirements and manufacturer's instructions, there are several other best practices that should be followed when installing surge arrestors. These include ensuring that the arrestor is properly grounded, using short and direct wiring runs, and providing adequate spacing between the arrestor and other electrical equipment. Proper grounding is essential for the effective operation of a surge arrestor. The grounding conductor should be sized appropriately and connected to a reliable grounding electrode system. Short and direct wiring runs minimize the impedance of the grounding path, which helps to divert surge currents more effectively. Adequate spacing between the arrestor and other electrical equipment helps to prevent flashover or arcing during a surge event. Furthermore, it's beneficial to consider the overall surge protection strategy for the facility. This may involve installing surge arrestors at multiple points in the electrical system, including at the service entrance, distribution panels, and individual equipment locations. A coordinated surge protection system can provide more comprehensive protection against transient voltage surges. Regular inspection and testing of surge arrestors are also important for ensuring their continued effectiveness. Visual inspection can identify signs of damage or deterioration such as discoloration, cracks, or loose connections. Testing can verify that the arrestor is still functioning properly and providing adequate surge protection. Surge arrestors have a limited lifespan and may need to be replaced periodically depending on the frequency and severity of surge events. In summary, surge arrestor installation requires careful attention to the requirements of the National Electrical Code, the manufacturer's instructions, and best practices for electrical safety and system reliability. By following these guidelines, it's possible to ensure that surge arrestors provide effective protection against transient voltage surges and help to prevent damage to sensitive equipment. The information provided serves as a general guideline and is not a substitute for consulting with a qualified electrical professional or referring to the latest edition of the National Electrical Code. Local codes and regulations may also apply and should be followed. Now, let us discuss the specific scenario of installing a surge arrestor within a meter mod that has a main disconnect section. A meter mod, typically short for meter modification, often involves upgrading or replacing the existing metering equipment while incorporating a main disconnect for safety and maintenance purposes. Installing a surge arrestor in this context requires careful consideration of the available space, the electrical connections, and the coordination with other components in the meter mod. Firstly, it is essential to verify that the chosen surge arrestor is suitable for the voltage and current ratings of the main disconnect section. The arrestor's voltage protection level should be appropriate for the equipment being protected, and its surge current capacity should be sufficient to handle potential surge events. Secondly, the physical installation of the arrestor must comply with the NEC requirements for accessibility and protection from physical damage. The arrestor should be mounted securely and in a location where it can be easily inspected and maintained. Thirdly, the electrical connections to the arrestor must be made in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the NEC requirements for wiring methods and overcurrent protection. The lead wires from the arrestor should be sized appropriately for the expected current flow, and they should be connected to a terminal block or other suitable means rather than directly to the buswork. Fourthly, the overcurrent protection device for the arrestor should be selected and installed in accordance with Article 408.36 of the NEC. The device should be sized to provide adequate protection without causing nuisance tripping, and it should be readily accessible for inspection and replacement. Fifthly, the grounding connection for the arrestor must be made to a reliable grounding electrode system. The grounding conductor should be sized appropriately and connected in accordance with the NEC requirements for grounding and bonding. In addition to these specific considerations, it is also important to coordinate the surge arrestor installation with other components in the meter mod, such as the main disconnect switch, the metering equipment, and any other protective devices. The overall goal is to ensure that the surge arrestor functions effectively as part of a comprehensive electrical protection system. Proper labeling of the surge arrestor and its associated components is also important for future maintenance and troubleshooting. The label should identify the arrestor's voltage rating, surge current capacity, and any other relevant information. It should also indicate the location of the overcurrent protection device and the grounding connection. Finally, it is recommended to document the surge arrestor installation, including the manufacturer's name, model number, installation date, and any other relevant details. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance, testing, and replacement purposes. Now let's talk about the specific voltage. For a 120 volts or 240 volt system, the surge arrestor would need to be rated for those respective voltages. For a three-phase system such as 208 volts, 277 volts, or 480 volts, the surge arrestor would need to be appropriately rated for those voltages as well.